This is for the people that have said, why me? Why did nobody protect me? Why did this happen to me? Maybe you've dealt with some sort of PTSD. You've had nightmares, flashback of certain events that has happened to you that you literally had nothing to do with it, but they just took advantage of you. If you fall in that category, stay. If you don't, go. And if you want to stay, you can. Maybe you have a friend that have dealt with some sort of experience where they've been like, why did no one listen to me? Why did no one protect me? Why is everyone blaming me? Hi, my name's Barbara. I'm a former Team Canada high jumper working really hard to make it at nationals and win gold. I'm also the host of my YouTube live called Barbie's Bible Bunch Bible Study Live, where I go live every single day, Monday to Friday, and we're doing the recap of the Bible. Right now, I have just started a series called Still Chosen. This is episode 14, where we break down mental health issues, mental illness that has happened in different characters in the Bible and how they have dealt with it. I started this series because I personally felt, as someone that has gone to church my whole life for the most part, the church can sometimes be really quiet on certain topics. Sometimes they blame you for what has happened. Sometimes you're pushed aside. Sometimes they're saying that, oh, you asked for it. This is all about debunking it, because mental illness, mental health struggle has been there since the beginning of time. It's not just today. We've just been labeling it today. So I do want to give you a trigger warning. This does talk about a very serious topic that could bring a lot of trauma. And either if you're a girl, you may have gone through it, or you may know someone that has gone through it. And including for guys, because this is not centered to just girls or guys. So we are going to talk about essaying and just getting taken advantage of. And as you know, in the church, sometimes when individuals get essayed or taken advantage of in a certain way, they get silenced, they get pushed aside, and then all they feel and all they're left is shame. This is my recap though, so if you want to watch the whole entire live itself, the whole entire teaching from start to finish, which I highly recommend you do, go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Barbie's Bible Bunch. It's very insightful. You're gonna like it, but again, I do want to give that trigger warning. All right, so let's begin. This story is all about a woman in the Bible that actually doesn't get talked about that often. Her name is Tamar. Now, Tamar was a princess, a beautiful princess. Why was she a princess? Because her dad is none other than, drumroll please, King David. That's right. Now, beautiful, beautiful Tamar unfortunately gets essayed by her half-brother Amnon. I'm saying it wrong. This is all found in 2 Samuel, by the way, if you want to dive in a little bit deeper. Amnon, he had a crazy obsession over Tamar and ends up tricking her into taking care of him when he's sick, when he really isn't sick, takes advantage of her, essayed her, and then has a deep hatred for her and kicks her out. She went from being a princess to literally now she had to stay with her other brother she got kicked out of the palace. She ends up staying with her other brother, Absalom, who eventually does end up killing Amnon. But that doesn't he retaliates, but she doesn't get peace from that, which makes sense because realistically, you could only get peace from God. Now, before you guys are like, wow, this sounds terrible. It sounds like a terrible ending. Yeah, like she literally kind of PTSD, when you have dealt with trauma, if you've ever dealt with any kind of trauma, but specifically SA trauma, you know how it feels where you feel like you're out of your body. You feel like you can almost feel like you almost deserve it, which I'm here to say that you do not deserve it. Now, what's worse is that when she does speak up about what happens, because she does, nothing happens. Yes, I did say the brother murders the other brother, but that's years later. When she essentially does speak up to King David about it, her father stays silent. Her father doesn't do anything. Yeah, he's mad, but that's the extent of what happens. That's it. There was no justice or anything like that. Now, is there a happy ending to this? There absolutely is a happy ending to this. For the most part, she's actually one of the only daughters that King David has. Because remember, King David had a lot of concubines and a lot of kids everywhere. Like he had a lot of children, right? She's one of the few daughters that still get named. So as all the sons get named, God still remembered her. Despite the world not caring, not giving up about her story, God still saw her. God still cared about her. God still heard her. God was still like, you are still chosen, and put her in the books, which you can see it in 2 Chronicles 1 or something like that. Now, here's the thing. God, just because you have gone through trauma, just because you have experienced something, you've been violated, you've experienced something that really is not your fault, it does not mean that God cannot use you. Just because you feel broken, it does not mean that God thinks you're useless. It does not mean that you're no longer chosen. Au contraire, he very much uses that. Tamara was the person that really brought that shine light on SA in the palace. And really, they kind of had to change a few rules. She spoke up despite her being silent. Your trauma, your pain, your past does not disqualify you for the plans God has for you. Listen, God has a gift in every single one of you for you to use to shine on others. Just because your past is traumatic, just because you may come from a household that isn't the best, it does not mean you are not chosen. You are still chosen. God will still use you. And if you have spoken up before and no one has listened, people have called you a liar, people have made you feel like you should be ashamed. Because in this story, after the brother literally essays the sister, the brother instantly despises Tamara. Instantly, the half brother, it was our half brother that essayed her, and it was the full brother that killed the other half. Anyways, he despised Tamara and kicks her out. So she went from a princess living in a palace to someone who feels abandoned and ruined living in her brother's home. Her identity was stripped. I'm here to let you know, well, God's here to let you know, because God says this, you are still chosen. You are still loved. God sees you. The world may not see you, but God sees you. Keep on going. Keep on going. If God has still given you another day to breathe, if you are still on earth, that means God's not done with you yet. And God can still use you. It doesn't matter what has happened to you. God cares. God saw it. God heard you. I promise you that. It's not the end, and God is still using you. Like I said, if you want to dive in deeper in this topic, go ahead and check out the full live recap. The full live, which we break down a little bit further in details what happened to her and the science behind what can happen when someone is going through a traumatic experience or have gone through a traumatic experience, and how God uses her and how God can also help you if you have gone through that similar situation. Make sure to follow me, Barbie's Bible Bunch. Yeah, on YouTube. The link is in the bio. And remember, I love you, but God loves you. And trust yourself. I've been saying this a lot. Hopefully you guys have been using this whole practice about trusting yourself. I've been repeating it. If you haven't, check out my other video about it. Trust yourself. God trusts you with a plan that He put in you to follow through. So you need to trust yourself. Anyways, love you guys. God bless. And you're still chosen.